Alright, so I have been wearing my Oura Ring every single day for the last year, and it has been the best thing frickin' ever for me. My sleep has improved so much, and I feel 10 times better. I can confidently say it has been the best addition to my life so far. It is frickin' water resistant, comfortable as heck, the battery lasts forever, durable, you name it. If you're looking for a review, I actually made that video already, so feel free to check it out here. So essentially in this video, I'm going to break down the 9 different lessons that I've learned after wearing an Oura Ring for the last year. And don't worry, this is not going to be applicable to just people that have Oura Rings. It can be applicable to a lot of other people, so we can all start improving our sleep. Also, before we jump in, if you're new here, my name is Mike, and we're all about exploring how to become the healthiest version of ourselves. All right, let's jump right in. All right, so lesson number 1 is that sleep is literally like a superpower, and it gives you a competitive advantage in your day. Like before, I used to get 6 hours of sleep and would be the guy that complained about being tired all the time. But now I value my beauty sleep so much, and I'm able to get so much more done and actually be focused in my work throughout my day. Not to mention, I have more energy, I'm better able to retain stuff that I'm learning. That probably came from 2 times more REM sleep throughout my entire experience. And also not to mention, my emotional stability and not feeling stressed out and anxious all the time has improved a ton as well. Like seriously, my beauty sleep is so important to me. I have become in love with optimizing and trying to improve my sleep as much as possible. And honestly, I feel like it's like a drug. Once you experience it, like properly getting a good amount of sleep for at least a couple weeks, you will never go back. Like never. Lesson number 2 is I've realized the value of gamifying stuff that's important to us. It makes it easier to incentivize ourselves to want to improve. Oura Ring does a really good job at this because it'll give you a sleep score, readiness score, and activity score every single day. And I oftentimes find myself getting giddy and excited before checking my scores to see if I got in the 90s or not. And if I didn't, I know that's a clear indication for myself that, okay, I need to either try to focus better on my evening routine and get some better sleep, or I need to manage my stress levels better, or I need to be more active throughout the day and stop being a lazy couch potato. So essentially, these high scores are giving me a dopamine hit, which is making the whole experience more fun for me to improve and become a better version of myself. Lesson 3 is I've realized working late at night is never, ever worth it. Like, I'm getting half-ass work done where I'm just not really there. I'm cramming and pushing and telling myself I'm being productive, but I'm not. And then my sleep cycle just gets completely out of whack. So my circadian rhythm that I've built up and put so much time into getting it where it is will just get shot. And then at the same time, the next day is basically in the garbage because I didn't get enough sleep because my body's still waking up at the certain time that it's used to doing. So like again, it's seriously never worth it. You can just stop and restart where you're at tomorrow. Lesson 4 is that alarms suck and I hate them and I never want to use them ever again. The thing is, letting ourselves actually get up naturally allows us to get enough sleep. There's going to be certain days where we were more active the day before, so maybe we need more sleep. And allowing ourselves to actually have that is going to be a make or break sometimes. And not to mention, alarm clocks will increase our cortisol even more than it's already doing. To wake up in the morning, our cortisol will start to go up and our melatonin will be in the floor. But then once we hear the alarm as well, our cortisol is going even higher. And some of you guys might know that I had a little mess up with my testosterone levels, specifically because I was having really high cortisol levels. And just so you know, to make testosterone and various other hormones, you need the same ingredients. So keep that in mind, and just keep in mind how you're managing your cortisol in general, which is the stress hormone, by the way, for people that are like, what the heck is that? Lesson number 5 is I've realized that a really easy way to be more active throughout the day that slowly becomes memory and habit is actually going to be getting in your daily steps. Usually I was striving for 10,000 steps, and I got really close to that. I was averaging about 9,600 over the entire year. And to achieve this, I'm literally walking everywhere. I prefer to walk, but of course there's some times where you can't do it. So what I also like to do is I go through 2 to 3 short walks throughout the day, and it's either after a meal to reduce my glucose response and improve my insulin response, or to kind of break up my work blocks throughout the day and get some nice sun throughout the day. And during those walks, I love to listen to some audiobooks. Recently, I've read The Oxygen Advantage and also Why We Get Sick, and I'm currently reading Fluent Forever. And at the same time, you can also practice some language learning with Pimsleur if you'd like. Number 6 is going to be that time in bed is very different than time asleep. Essentially, we're not all super efficient sleepers. Keep in mind, it takes you a certain amount of time to fall asleep, say 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes even more. Then maybe you wake up in the morning to go pee or something like that, and then maybe you lie around in bed in the morning. These are all various things that are taking away from your actual time of sleep, but we usually don't account for them. So for myself, I'm usually around a 91-92% sleeper, and we want to be budgeting at least 9 hours for bed to at least get 8 hours or around that to sleep. Again, you can change that up a little bit. If you have the Oura Ring, you can actually see those variables, but if you don't, 9 hours is usually going to be a best allocation of time. I realized there was like a very common trend for me. I would have a good night of sleep if I followed my evening routine, and at least an hour or 2 before bed, I started winding down. For as long as I can remember, I used to classify myself as a night owl, and I'd love to do all my creative, productive work late at night, and my mind would be wandering and wandering and wandering. Well, again, this is like a personal thing for me, but I was getting 2 cortisol spikes, and cortisol is gonna wake you up a bunch, so I was kind of told, okay, yo, you need to chill. And when I actually chilled in the afternoon, and especially in the evening, and did some meditation, did some brain dump journaling, or even just read a book before bed, every single time I do that, I see that my resting heart rate when I'm going to sleep and throughout the entire night, and also my sleep quality is drastically better. So the nights that I do this, which is the majority nowadays, it's just fantastic, and the plan is to continue this over a long period of time. I think you guys can probably experience the same benefits if you were to practice this as well. Also, I wanted to quickly mention, if you're a Notion user and also have an Oura Ring and you want to import that information into your Notion database, so when you're doing your weekly reviews or your daily reviews, you can see all that information there instead of having to manually type it in, which I've been doing for too long and just sucks. I've actually gone out and built a tool with a friend that actually fixes this all for you. If you guys want to check that out, it's going to be down below. We're called Notion Wizards, and this is our first integration. We're working on a couple more in the future, but I'd love if you guys would go check that out. Anyways, let's continue on. The next lesson is I've realized the importance of heart health and HRV when it comes to the quality of my life. I've seen a strong correlation of how I feel on a daily basis and how hard I can push myself based on the level of how high the milliseconds between my heartbeat are, which is going to be a representation of HRV or heart rate variability. This is a really clear marker of certain days that I need to take a rest day from the gym or do a little bit less work on that specific day. Also, I've been able to increase my HRV by an average of 10 milliseconds just by starting to practice the techniques in the book The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McEwen, and to continue improving my HRV to get it up to an average of 100 milliseconds. It's currently at like 50, 60. But anyways, I'm going to read Heart, Breath, and Mind by Dr. Leo Lagos, and also get the Elite HRV sensor and start doing their training, so I can hopefully get to that goal. That is the plan. And then the very last tip is I've realized after tracking my sleep for such a long time, I need a lot more sleep than I actually thought. Everyone's different, and there's even some genetic anomalies that literally can survive off like 6 hours without any hindrance to their mental capacity or anything. Rounded to a whole number, it's like 0%, by the way. But anyways, For myself at least, I've realized I need around 9 hours. I've been averaging 8 hours and 37 minutes recently, and to actually figure this out, I was relying on my body's natural hormonal response based on my circadian rhythm. So to actually go to bed, I would be waiting for drowsiness that would be coming from adenosine and melatonin, and then to actually wake up in the morning, I was getting up through a spike in cortisol, which is naturally how we're supposed to wake up, and melatonin would be in the floor. Well, anyways, that's the video. I hope you guys learned something that can be applied to improve your own sleep. But anyways, if you're looking for a bunch of other tips or want to check out the Oura Ring, both of those videos will be out here. Feel free to check either of them out. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.